This is Alan Stewart with B&B Yacht Designs, and I've got a sneak peek of a new 3D model. This is the Class Globe 580, designed by Janice Madursky for Don McIntyre, who's putting together a new class called the Class Globe 580. And we are excited to be working on this project with him. This is the 3D model that we've been working on for the boat, and we're going to be putting together a kit for this boat. And more information is going to be available on their website, classglobe580.com, where you can see where to purchase the kit and you can read more about this boat. But we're really excited about the design and excited to be working on this project.
Well, g'day everybody. It's been a while since we've had an update, and I'm in La Sable d'Olonne at the moment with the Vendée Globe happening just out the door there, and Jane is on the side in Adelaide, South Australia. I've got Aida here as well, helping me back up in case I lose the internet. And Jane's laughing like crazy. She just sent me a message. Just as we're about to go to air, I used the wrong logo. So we definitely are Class Globe 580, not Class Mini, which I put up there. So anyway, this is going to be a bit of a monologue, me talking for however long it takes. We're going to go through a lot of things, things about the boats, about the events, and about the way we're managing some of the stuff, and so on. So yeah, sit back and have a listen to this. Now, you can actually make comments, which I'll see coming up. Stephen Eddy's there. What a day. Oh, that's because I've just got off a GGR live, which Stephen was there as well. So g'day, Stephen. We are now going to talk about a lot of different things. So if you want to make a comment, just do it there. You've got a question to ask or something, I can get to that. I've got the questions that you've already posted in the comments from the reminder yesterday in the Class Mini. I'll get to those as we move further forward. There's no set sequence to this. So I've got a list here that are the things I want to cover, and I'm just going to go through them, you know, as they pop up. So I think first of all, I'll go through the actual Globe 580 Transat. A few people have been asking. Believe me, it is well and truly on. The pandemic is not an issue for this event. Boats will be required to assemble in Portugal the last week of October. Start day will be the 31st of October, and then we're heading across. I can pretty confidently say, it's not official yet, but I can pretty confidently say it'll be or maybe I better not say. Anyway, we have an island stopover about 600-700 miles out. The port in Portugal, we've now narrowed it down to 2 ports. We're in a final discussion phase with those ports. They're both quite keen, and we are now hoping to sign a deal or close the negotiations at the end of this month. And then we'll make an announcement in November. That's the current schedule. There'll be a couple of little changes. One is that the first leg to the first island won't be part of the race. It'll be a separate standalone fun event to let everyone settle down. Very similar to the first mini transats, where sailing from the UK to the Canaries wasn't a race at all. It was just get there. When you got there, that was like your qualifier, and then you set off across the Atlantic for the actual race. We're going to do a similar sort of deal. So it is important to get from Portugal to the first island, but then the race proper will start from there to the finish port in the Caribbean. We're talking to people over there as well, but stand by for further announcements. I'm confident that the pandemic, even though no one really knows, won't be such a big issue at that time. But you've got to remember, behind us now, the Vendée Globe boats, they're going around the world, right in the thick of it. We'll be in a similar situation. Even if the pandemic was around and was really demanding next year, I'm quite certain we can get the boats away. And the other reason I can say that is because I'm going to be there. I'm going to be on Trekker, and I'm going. So there's no dramas there. When we make the announcements, we can finalise the notice of race or the pre-notice of race. So that'll be issued at the same time. So, and you will then be able to put your entries in for those that are interested in going. We have very solid support lined up. There will be subsidised shipping back. The first boats who arrive, we're not sure how many yet though, but the first boats arriving will get free shipping back to the same port that we departed from. So if you've left trailers there, you're going to, and you sailed, you beat me or something, you'll get a trip back to Portugal. So that's just full on. And the other thing I'll say is the first event of anything like this is always worth trying to strive for, to be involved with. It's going to be a lot of fun, a real challenge, but there is some good things happening there. So it's definitely on. Let's just go to, well, in fact, I'll come straight in now, get rid of the Mini Transat, and I'll talk about the Mini Globe Race. A couple of things there that you need to know. First of all, very strong interest in this race. I'm talking to people, potential entrants that haven't even bought plans for the boat yet, really keen on the 24 edition of the first ever edition of the Mini Globe Race. How are we going to select the 30? There will only be 30 starters in the race, right? We're not going to extend it. I know it'll be a sellout. And the first thing is that when we put the pre-notice of race, it'll be up for a year. That'll come up probably in December now. We think it'll be December when we release that. The selection process starts with your entry. In a way, it's first in, best dressed for the first 20. Okay, the first 20 entrants, if you're in fast, you can get it. You will not be able to put an entry in unless you've already built a 580 to a structural component stage or paid someone to build it for you. So in other words, you have to have a boat about where Trekker is right now. It's got to be the timber structure, glassed. You've got to have your keel manufactured. You've got to have bought your stainless steel safety pack, and that's it. You don't have to have your rig. You don't have to have your deck gear. You don't have to have your sails. But when you get it to that point, we'll let you put the entry in, provided you've got the ocean miles experience. That's another issue, but it's very easy. You'll have to, it's already on the website now, but that's the other precursor. We don't want people putting in an entry now and saying we're going to build a boat in 2 years' time, we'll be ready, because that locks people out. We're not interested. Once we get to the first 20, okay, the final 10, it may be competitive. In other words, we'll look at that as we move forward, but what it means is we may select the 10 that have done the most miles or something, and see. We want good people involved. It's a bit tricky, but certainly for the first 20, it will be first in, best dressed. You get it in, you cover your sea miles, and so on, you're there. There will be other things that you have to do leading up to the start of the race, or your qualifications. We will be using celestial navigation for the Mini Globe Race, but you can use a GPS. So in other words, you have to qualify with celestial for the Mini Globe, but you don't have to use it once you've qualified. You can use a GPS, but the GPS system may go down during the course of that year. We don't know. It's a strange world. So you have to be able to celestial navigate. And there's lots of other things. Now, one of them, which is very important, is the easiest way I can explain why we are allowing the use of electric outboards in the Class Globe 580. It's as simple as this. The Mini Globe Race is a race of attrition. Those that start, not all of them are going to finish. It's a huge journey. We think the timeline is about 15 months to get around the world. At the moment, we have 6 legs scheduled with about an average of 3 pit stops in between those legs. So you start a leg like across the Atlantic, it'll start in Portugal, and there will be a minimum of 2 island stopovers, which are pit stops. One could be in Madeira, one could be in an English harbour in Antigua, and then you make your way to Panama. When you do those pit stops, you have to get there yourself. There's no towboats, there's no nothing. You have to sail in, and the clock will stop when you reach the designated pit stop. So I could be on a marina. Once you put your first rope ashore, you're there, you can do it. So you can use your electric outboard to do that last little bit in, okay? And that's the same all the way around the world. There's no towboats. You have to make your own way out again when you get sailing. So you're going to need your electric outboard. Once you do that, there's no point in having a rule if you can't police it. And when you're going across the doldrums and so on, how are we going to stop people using the electric outboard? We can't. We're not having petrol outboards, so you can't gauge it by the amount of fuel they use. So it's an interesting challenge in itself. It's not going to be an electric outboard boat race because most of the time you've got solid wind, and these outboards are maximum 1,000 watt. Now, when you have a 1,000 watt outboard, you're not going to do heaps of miles, and if there's any wind, you're going to sail. Believe me, it's not going to be that sort of deal. But if there's absolute zero wind, a complete glass out, what happens is you can use your electric outboard, which keeps your average speed up and gets you into port and keeps everyone moving around the world. So it's not rocket science, and it's quite an interesting challenge. It'll also help development of outboards and so on. So I'll talk about that a bit more, but that's where the original idea came from for all these stops. It's a long way around. The other thing I'll say is this, and this is born from feedback from potential entrants in the mini globe race. Quite a few are saying and looking at how they're going to get families involved. And so, we need to make sure the legs are easily accessible for people to fly into, fly out of, and so on. Also, it brings up about support crew. Now, in principle, there will be no support crews for this race. You shouldn't need them because the boat's very simple. There's not a lot to break down. It's just your mast, rig, sails. You don't have to have electronics experts and We're yet to define what that'll mean, but certainly it's not going to stop all your family and friends coming in, okay, to be part of your stopover and have fun. But that's made us realize that with 6 legs, that might be a bit challenging. So we may make, and we haven't decided yet, we may cut it back to 4 official legs, and then we designate more pit stops on the way, which you can decide where you want to stop. But the pit stops have to be a minimum, have to be a certain number of days as a minimum. If you want to stay more days, that's fine, you keep going. And the legs may be from as simple as from Portugal to Panama, Panama to Fiji, Fiji to Cape Town, Cape Town back to the finish in Portugal. So you can see Fiji is easy to get in and out of, Cape Town is easy to get in and out of, Panama is easy to get in and out of, and then you can actually plan and schedule it. And it makes the management and also explaining the race to the rest of the world a lot easier, because remembering your pit stops are not going to change your relative position. But when we do have a leg stop, we have to calculate the times you get in, and then it's a mass start. And it creates, we want to keep the confusion on who's winning and who's not as simple as possible. So, so there's some of the key elements there on that one. Now I'll bring in the new one now, which is the Transpac. And I'll explain the reason why we've got a Transpac and why the Transpac is actually happening during the course of the mini globe race. Basically, the mini globe race is a monster. It goes forever, Christmas, birthday, Easter, it just goes on and on and on. And so the Transpac is an event for those that aren't doing the mini globe race. You can ship your boat to Japan, sail across the United States. It's a great sail, okay? It's been done before. It's quite a journey, 60 odd days or more. It's quite challenging. It actually appeals to me. So if we're lucky, if we get the sort of sponsors we hope to get for the mini globe race, I may be able to leave the manager there doing that, because I'm not going to do the mini globe race, and sail Trekker in the Transpac, which I would do. I'm yet to decide on that, but it's a great challenge. And I just know I've got quite a few Japanese friends. I know that Japanese hospitality is fantastic. I'm sure that'd be a lot of fun. The challenge is great. Arriving in San Francisco, I've only been there once as sort of semi-tourist, or buying some equipment for another Antarctic expedition. But I can't imagine what it'd be like to sail under the bridge there. Having sailed across the Pacific. So that's a great challenge, and that's the reason we put it in, because not everyone's going to do the mini globe race. So I'll get rid of that. And then there's one other I just want to remind everyone about, which when I can find it here, I've got quite a few bits, is our championship. Now, basically Portugal and the mini, our 580 is actually on fire. There's a lot of interest in Portugal about the Globe 580. It'll all make sense later on when you see what happens as we move forward. it's going to become pretty much the home of the class. So our championship here in 2022 is going to be a lot of fun. It's for everyone and anyone. It's 2 weeks of fun events, great social activity, dinners, parties, you can drive your boat to the venue from anywhere in Europe. You can ship your boat from anywhere in the world. You can sail your boat there if you're from England or some other part. You can sail the boat down to Portugal, and then we sail down the coast with prevailing winds, all that sort of stuff. It's going to be a bucket load of fun, and it really is designed for everyone. It's not the epic of having to have 2 months off work and sail across to another country and so on. It's really hometown Europe, but everyone will be invited to come, and it should be cool. So that's that one there. Now, just an update on the keels. When you, wrong one. I got to hide that one. And where are we here? I'm juggling bits and pieces. I've lost the keel here somewhere. Where did it go? Probably shot the other side here. Yep. I got to go back the other way. I've got about 20 photos here that I've got to keep juggling across. There it is. Okay. When you buy your stainless steel pack, which is a rudder, gudgeons, pintles, all that stuff, you get the file to cut the steel plate into the format where you have tabs going up into the base plate, and then you have the lead bulb. Our keel in Poland has looks like it's not running as fast as we thought. It's still not manufactured. I was trying to get an update from Pitor, but he's flat stick doing the doing tracker for us. And basically what we know is that the weights of the cut plate is correct, and we're yet to cast the bulbs. We're suggesting and advising strongly that everyone that's doing a bulb, don't cast it yet. You can make the plug if you want to, because we made the same plug from ours, but it'll probably be heavier. The bulb will be heavier than what's designed, and we want a sail tracker with a heavier bulb just where we start, because it's very easy to shave the lead off the back. So I'll let you know what's happening there. But yeah, you can go ahead and build your keel, but don't do your bulbs yet. Just remember that. That's very, very important for now. Let's now, the stainless steel pack, I'll just drop a couple of these in. All right. They're all under manufacture now. We're doing the first 50 sets. Some people didn't take on those sets. They're all set there. They'll be set there ready to go, but those that have got them, we're scheduling to have them finished at the end of this month, and we haven't been advised with any other issues, so it should be on track. Then we'll get them out. Okay. Now, yeah, so stand by from that. That's pretty straightforward. They're going quite well. When we do get them, you'll actually, those that have ordered them now, will be getting one of these. In fact, you'll get two. Okay, we've done the numbers, and you'll actually get two Globe 580 hats, okay, with mini globe race on the back and all the rest of it. So when you get your pack, look out for a surprise. So you'll have there'll be two hats in each one of the kits when they go, because the freight is really heavy, right? So we can easily put light stuff in, and we thought, well, those that bought now, you get some hats as well. So there's nothing more I need to tell you on that. You get one thing we thought, the bolt that goes through the gudgeons and pintles that you can see here are specially manufactured. They're not an off-the-shelf bolt, all right? They're actually turned down to fit in and pivot. And, someone may want to carry a spare bolt. I don't know. Will I carry a spare bolt? Probably not. If I was doing the mini globe race, I may, but we'll see. That's about the only thing there. So I'll get rid of those now. That's all going pretty cool. Come across to the next one. Let's talk about the Selden Rig. I'm not going to put masts up, but I want to explain exactly what's happening here. This is looking very exciting. I've got a Sparcraft rig, right? And I'm very happy with that rig. The same mast builder that Jean-Luc used in the Golden Globe race. And we've spoken a few times. He's a nice guy, good company. Very happy indeed with my Sparcraft rig. All right. It's a good deal, and it's pretty hot, okay? And it's all within spec, okay? It's using the approved mast section and so on. The Selden rig is not going to be using one of these teardrop rigs. You can see in that picture, that's what we call a teardrop spar. And the standard design from Janus has approved 2 sections that are teardrop spars, and then there's another 2 sections. One is the Selden section and one is the Sparcraft section. They have flat walls on the trailing edge of the mast, and that allows you to use bat cars, Rutgers and batten cars for the mainsail. It's up to you whether you want to do that. But when I get onto the sails in a minute, you'll see how that is maybe an advantage. Certainly for me, I want to use batten cars for the battens on the mainsail, so that's a consideration. Secondly, everyone knows Selden. They're a component manufacturer of rigs. Everything's a lot of bolt-on bits. Okay, so we've developed now a standard self-assembly kit, which is okay to use with either furling gear or hank sails. Because you've got to remember, if you're using furling gear, you need to change the position of the forestay up the mast, and the computers run through where the spreader should be and all that sort of stuff. Based on this, we've got an approved rig with this section that's approved, all the right dimensions that can be done for a furling gear or hanks, and everything's there. Okay, the only thing that's not there is the, in fact, you've probably read it, is the VHF aerial. You've got no nav lights fitted. You've got no Windex on the top, but you've got all your halyards, your running gear, your reefing lines on the boom, all your mast bases, spreaders. Everything's there, right? The sleeve is manufactured, so you can pull the bits apart. It's got all your standing rigging, all the wire, rigging screws, the whole lot. So you can pull it. It'll come in 2 4-meter tubes, right? And we can deliver by DHL or FedEx, whatever, anywhere around the world. It's not that heavy. It's quite achievable. All you do is pull it out of the box, assemble it, and stand it, right? We will be pre-fitting the rig on Trekker. So once the chain plates are in, we get the XYZ of the dimensions of the pins and so on. So the standing rigging will be completely finished, all done. You don't have to swage anything, do anything. Just stick it in and stick it up. It's got no taper, right? The standard rig has got no taper. It's just a straightforward section. If you want a taper, you can get that. It costs a truckload more. And I doubt whether most people would want a taper, but it is one of only 2 options, which is all explained. You can see the data and the dialogue on this on the forum. We talk about it already, and we will. This first one we've developed will be, it's probably just about finished now here in France. We're just waiting for Trekker to turn up. As soon as it turns up, we'll put it up, and we'll set all the dimensions and check everything. We'll sail with it and so on. So you'll see what's happening. The price is, in my opinion, very good, and it allows for the ability to send it anywhere in the world, pay your tax, pay your duty, and it's still a deal. I'm confident, but the choice will be yours. It certainly saves a lot of mucking around and so on, because we spent a lot of time just even getting this one set up and right. So so that's the latest. We'll be able to, with all of this, show you on Trekker. We'll do videos, dialogue, explanation of all the fittings and so on. So you'll be able to copy all that once we get Trekker here and get it going. So stand by for that. There'll be a lot of things happening when Trekker turns up. So that's that one. Now, as part of that kit, we're using a lot of Blue Shark stuff. Now, I'll explain that. I've got some more bits here. In case you didn't know, I live in China with Jane, my Chinese wife. And so I don't mind China for lots of reasons, but their gear is good. There's nothing wrong. Most of the stuff you buy these days is bought in China. Anyway, we won't talk politics. But this gear is all very good. It's all aluminium, everything, stainless steel, everything, Delrin balls. They're all ball bearing blocks. Their Jenica furlers are fantastic. There's something that fits everything to do with the boat. We've actually targeted our Jenica to fit this particular Jenica furler. So, and I've gone through and listed the entire package of gear that I'm using on Trekker, using all Blue Shark stuff. We're one of their agents effectively now, so we've cut a deal on all the pricing, and we're not supposed to, we've passed the majority of that on to make it a complete package. So when you get the rig, you get this package as well. You get your Jenica furling gear, you get all your blocks and tackles for all of the systems on the boat, which you'll get to see because I'm fitting it all on Trekker. So once again, you don't have to do anything now, but once Trekker's running, We got all the stuff there. We'll video it, we'll photograph it, we'll give a full explanation, and you'll be able to see whether this is for you or not. And I think you'll find the deal quite exceptional. So, but it's up to you. You can or you can't, doesn't matter. But it saves a lot of time and effort and money, and this is good gear. When Pitor hadn't seen this stuff, and I sent it all up to him up in Poland, and the first thing he said, he was stunned. He said, "This is good stuff." You know, he wants it for some other stuff later on. So yeah, I'm very impressed with this gear. Value for money, it's exceptional. It'll last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Won't fade in the sun. You know, there's no plastic, no nothing. It's all the real deal. It's not as expensive as the big brands, but it's good stuff. So that's what's going on there. I'll get rid of these. Okay, now situation with the outboards. There are the ruling is going to be that you can have an outboard up to 1,000 watt. Okay, and you can have any smaller outboard if you want, but it's got to be feasible. We'll probably have a minimum wattage. I'm not sure yet what that might be, but in the game at the moment, there are two primary brand names. There's Torqeedo and there's ePropulsion, all right? And they're very similar, but there's some big differences as well. So that's there. They're not cheap if you look at the purchase price compared to a 3-horsepower petrol engine. You can two-stroke, if you can find one. You know, two-stroke's not good for the environment, which is why we don't want it. Even a 4-stroke petrol one, probably cheaper than electric ones, but we don't care. This is an environmental statement as well. And also now, in my opinion, electric outboards, their time has come. You know, if you only need a small one, they're actually very good. They're absolutely zero maintenance basically, and they work. And for the 580 at about 1,000 kilo displacement, the 1,000 watts is just about right. Remembering you only need it when there's no wind. All right, so that's the first thing. So I've looked at the two big brand names, right, and I decided which is best for me. This is my choice. Call it what you like. I'm going ePropulsion. I've approached ePropulsion. They're really interested in what we're doing, and they may come on board as a partner. And if that's the case, we may be able to do some stuff later on. We don't know, but anyway, the beauty of the outboards, and they're all similar in some aspects, but basically you have a separate battery pack. You have the outboard itself. They're light. They're componentized, and I'll get to the questions in a minute. But to me, they're perfect for the 580. You know, easy to handle, easy to stow. So when you take off, you can take two parts off, stick it in the boat, put it up forward. You don't have to worry about fuel leaking anywhere, all that sort of stuff, and you can keep pulling it out, use it, whatever, solar charging and whole bit. So that's the deal, and that's a done deal. We're not going to change our mind. Electric outboards are the way to go, and it makes a very cool statement. If you're not doing one of our official events, you can obviously use petrol wherever you want. Club racing, do whatever you want. But when you turn up to a Transat or the Mini Globe, it's got to be electric. And at the moment, there's two. There will be others in the future, I'm sure. So that's the deal that we're talking about there. So stay tuned. But yeah, one of the reasons I like ePropulsion is because value for money, but also their battery pack is bigger. It's one of the biggest on the market, and you'll be allowed to carry two batteries. Okay, so you have one on your outboard, and you can have a spare that you're charging up, and that makes a bit of a difference. And you can get all sorts of accessories for them. So that's the deal there. Now sales. Get a lot of anticipation on this. You know, I'm lucky because I've got my sales now. I've seen them. It's been a long road. Okay, and the first thing I'll say is that it's been an interesting process because we've been dealing with 10 sail makers and we narrowed it down and we got to one. But anytime you want to buy a sail, I've got to tell you the amount of work that is involved with talking to the sailmaker, getting everything right, you know, getting the reefs in the right position, getting all your hardware right, all that sort of thing. It just takes forever. So this is put your money down, you've got your sails. The specification on the mainsail, this is actually the mainsail, right? So you've got 4 full battens. You've got your gaff batten, your diagonal, then you've got one supporting the head of the sail, then you've got the one just above the 0-1. Then there is a full batten just right on top of the third reef point. And then there's a half batten, okay, in between the first and second reef point. The reason for that is that if you have all full battens, the sail is just going to take that shape forever. With a half batten at the bottom, it leaves you, the sailor, to really make that sail a lot fuller. You can move it around, change the shape, you know, using all your ability, you get a lot more flexibility on what you do with that sail in various conditions. So that's why we didn't go with a full sail. It's all tri-radial. It's all compression slides there. The batten cars cost a bit more if you want them. That's an accessory. Each sail, the flag on there, you will have to have you'll just have to decide what your nationality is, what you're for the boat, and it will have that sail, the flag put on the sail. We're pushing the nationalities because I think that's a real feature of what we're doing now. The 580 logo at the top is actually your safety high vis logo. It's on both sides of the sail, so we don't have to have the blanked out high vis at the top of the sail. Sail number is there. That Golden Ocean Mini, you're seeing it for the first time. That's our 3 events with the Globe logo. So it's Golden Globe, Ocean Globe, Mini Globe. That's just something for us. It's on my main sail. You won't have that. Yours will be free. The idea then is that the event sponsors will have a big round logo, and that can be put anywhere on the sail between the second and, we'll explain it all later, but that goes wherever you want. The rest of it's for your own artwork and so on. The sailmaker, I'm not going to mention the sailmaker we've chosen yet because that's going out with a press release, but they're global brand agents all around the world. They've got lofts all around the world to support that. And when you order your sails, if you want any graphics or anything, you can do absolutely anything. All right. So if you've got graphics you want on there, that's a done deal. There's also a boom cover. You can get stuff done on the boom cover if you want. Various colors, eugenicas. There's a color swatch there. You can have any color mix that you want. That's all cool. The wardrobe is, as you know, it's 5 sails, but you can carry 6. The code 0 is up for discussion later on, and I mentioned that previously on a post that I'm getting a code 0 made just to test it out and see what it's going. But I'm of the opinion that we don't need a code 0 for the standard racing wardrobe. You only get to use it in narrow wind band, wind direction, and it's more money. It's not really needed, but I'd be interested in feedback. And no one's really mentioned a spinnaker, but I'll tell you something that did happen. I had lunch with Jean-Luc Vandenheed, a very experienced sailor, 6, 7 times around the world. He did both the first 2 mini transatlantics when they were on in '77. And I told him the wardrobe. The first thing he looked at me and says, "Oh, you really need a spinnaker, like a full-on, fat head, full spinnaker." I said, "You're kidding me." And he said, "No." He said he brought up that the spinnaker was kind of handy back then, and I'm not sure what that means yet, but I'm still, we'll just get the boat sailing, see what happens. Maybe back in those days they didn't have the 5s and the 3s and stuff, and they just had spinnakers. They didn't even know what an asymmetric was, but it was an interesting comment. So, but we're trying to keep the sails down to a minimum. Anyway, so the whole wardrobe, if we look at the storm jib, has a reef in it. The 2 head sail options, a furling option or a hanked option. They're all tri-radial. Okay, the hanked option has a reef in it. The code 5 and 3 are pretty traditional, but they're all good material, all good fittings, hardware, all that sort of stuff. And the thing I mentioned, I think I mentioned this in the last update, that we realised when this is happening, we're going to need to register the rigs and register your sails. So there's a process involved with all that as well, which will be fully explained. Anyway, I've got my sails. When Pitor is ready to get the boat down here, which we now think will probably be the first week of November, we will get sailing. The sail loft now is waiting for me to finalise the agreement. I'm very busy at the moment, but as soon as I finalise the actual agreement between us, which is basically done, I've just got to get it together. We'll sign that. Everything looks fantastic. We are very excited because it's a big brand. When you get there, you'll be proud to know that it's not just not just an average loft. We're mixing it with some of the best on this, and they are very keen to work with us as a partner to help promote the 580 class, and they're quite proud to have their brand on the sails. So it's working really well, and it protects your investment. The sales may be better than what some people would have normally done, but it's a nice feeling to know that we're all racing with the same sails and everything's been sorted. And we've had a lot of input too. Some other 580 sailors have been feeding to us, and the loft themselves, and my own ideas. So it's all looking very cool. So stand by for more. If I knock in some of these, this is all about the Plastimo Builders Pack. we've frantically, or Pitor's frantically about to start fitting all our Plastimo stuff. Trekker's currently white with 4 layers of beautiful white, and another 580 builder went and saw it and was completely gobsmacked when he saw the boat. He's a lucky guy. I haven't even seen the boat, but when I talk about the camera, wide-angle lenses distorts the boat, and you can't sit back and see it. Anyway, this guy went to see him. He talked to me about wanting to build a boat, and he just signed a deal with Pitor to build the next one after Trekker. So apparently it looks really hot. So we're waiting with bated breath on that to see more. So the Plastimo Builders Pack, I keep saying this, it's only a few weeks away, and it is. It's still only a few weeks away, but we'll try and get it sorted as quick as we can. And it's going to be possibly very relevant for everyone in Europe and the EU because it's easy to ship. I'm not sure how it's going to work yet. We're trying to sort out what happens in other parts of the world because Plastimo has agents in other parts of the world, but the pricing will change and a few other things. But anyone in Europe is looking pretty good. So, okay, so I'll get rid of those, and get rid of those. Let's see, I think we're just about up to ready to answer questions. One of the questions I got, and I'll put this here. In fact, I'll come through to Facebook now and I'll read the questions here if I'm lucky. Oh, I just lost it. Okay. Ada, can you find me the 580 on this for me? Thanks. And I can, just that post again. So yeah, the question was along the lines of we've got I forget how many builders blogs there at the moment, but we've gone through over 100 plans that are out there, and what's the situation? When are the others how many are going to start building? Basically, it's very difficult to determine because what I can tell you is human nature is such that a lot of people will buy plans, and they'll never build. Right? I think I mentioned this before as well. I've got 3 sets of plans. I never built the boat. So out of that 100, maybe 25% will never build, right? So you're back to 75 builders. So then if we say the next thing is that a lot of people have bought the plans and it's still dream material. They're not ready to go yet. They might be waiting for a couple of years for the kids to grow up. They might be targeted specifically at the mini globe race in 24, still 4 years away. So they might start building their boats until for another couple of years yet. Although when they hear that they've got to have a boat built to put in an entry, they may start earlier. I'm not sure. So it's impossible to say, but half of those might not be ready to start building for another year, 2 years, or whatever. Even the ones that are building now, and there's more and more coming online as we speak. I know where the kits are getting cut and how many have been ordered, all those sort of stuff, and they're still not building yet. It takes a while to find your shed, to get your tools together, to get your epoxy, all that stuff. And in fact, the guys that are watching this that are already building boats are probably laughing right now, saying, bloody hell, it takes a while. And there's a reality check as well. You say, yeah, I'll do that. Oh, geez, now I've got to get all this happening. It takes time. So don't worry. You're going to see a whole lot of blogs start popping up very soon on the bits and pieces. So with 100 boats, I reckon, at least a quarter will never build. I might be wrong, right? I'm just being a realist. And the others, they'll get organised, and some of them are just busting to go now. We've got quite a interesting conversation with people that are like me. They haven't got time to build their boat. Some people are concerned they can't build the boat; they're not capable, and they're very simple to build. But anyway, I understand what they're saying, and so they're looking for ways for other people to help them build their boat or pay someone to build the boat. And everyone wants to know how much is it cost, how long is a piece of string. You set your own standards, which will determine your budget. So that's a very difficult one to determine. But as it gets on, soon we'll be able to give you more statistics on Trekker. And some of the agents are already quoting on boats. Some have already started building boats for clients, which is really cool. So anyway, I'll get onto these questions that came up underneath our class mini 580, which was wrong. Okay, so Peter Mueller, could you, if possible, confirm if the Transat will take place? Yes, it will. The pandemic, we've gone through that. It's not affecting us at all. Mick Moyer, the electric outboards, I don't particularly like the rule that you can use them constantly, at least as much as solar can recharge it. I feel it promotes an electric drag race, like the rowing you already pointed out. Or am I missing an understanding? Thanks, hull number 79. Yeah, I've sort of tried to explain it. You're going to need it for the mini globe race, in and out. You're going to need it for the Mini Transat, you will have to get your way to the dock, right, to finish. There won't be any towboats, right? There'll be safety boats if you get into trouble, but there's no towboats. And at the finish, you have to get to a particular spot in the harbour before you finish the race, right? So you need to keep some power in reserve, because if you get there and you're becalmed and you've got no energy left and you can't make the finish line, you're cooked, right? So it makes a tactical challenge. And believe me, I'm not expecting everyone to be running their outboards across the Atlantic. If you do, you're going to take 2 or 3 months to get there. So it's really just a part of logistics and part of the issue of showing the world that what you can do with solar panels and batteries. But we've gone through that. The solar panels are restricted and the battery capacity is also. I'm not too familiar with, from Daniel Turner, not too familiar with electric outboards, but I'm wondering how they will hold up in the long offshore race, particularly with a knockdown, etc. Any thoughts on this? Basically, you take it off the back of the boat, you unplug the battery, pull it off. It takes about 20 seconds. Put the battery inside. You undo the wing nuts, lift the, only weighs, it's bugger all, the body of the outboard, take it off, and you put it inside. And you can do that because there's no petrol, there's no oil, there's nothing to leak or anything like that. So you put it inside. If you're ever becalmed and you want to use it, stick it on the back. If the conditions are good, like in a transatlantic, I think you could probably comfortably go all the way across the transatlantic if you wanted to and leave it on the back. But why would you? Because it's extra weight down the back of the boat. You've got to try and keep the boat like that, not like this, So it's easy to handle, very easy to handle and stow away. So there's not a problem. Okay, Daniel again. Just wondering if you could please provide any further update on the MGR rules. I've done that. A confirmation on external communications will be considered. I am listening, and we will probably once a week for the Mini Globe race actually transmit the positions of the whole fleet to everyone. There will be no communications with the outside world for family and friends. This is part of the challenge of the Mini Globe race and our long distance races. It's the isolation. It is a challenge, but it focuses you on what you're doing, and it's that's the name of the game. You will be able to communicate with the race control anytime. You'll have a satellite phone on board. You can call us and chat, or you can call us to make an official report, whatever. But what we do with that is determined by the media management plan and stuff later on. So yes, you won't be talking to your friends, family, media direct from the boat. That'll upset your appreciation of the isolation and challenge of going around the world. But we will be giving positions of all the boats once a week. I think it might have been your idea, Daniel, I forget. But anyway, that'll all come out later. Including some modern day electric outboards. We've already decided electric outboards are there. Okay, and it could be tactical. In the round the world race is interesting because there will be a couple of legs where you have to go through the doldrums, and we want to keep you moving, and that's where your electric outboard will come in handy. They don't go a long way. If you go slow, they'll go for hours and hours and hours and hours. You try and go for drag race, and you'll flatten the battery in an hour and a half, 2 hours. So you have to learn to manage that. But it is a tool to use through the doldrums. We're in 2020. The Mini Globe race will be in 2024. Electric outboards will be more of an issue then. You will be able to use lithium batteries in 2024, but not now, not on the other ones. It's a bit of a shock because it's new and different, but it'll all work out fine, and you'll see how it all comes together at the end. Ada, can't wait to have the MGR news on the thing. Daggerboards. Some Setkas had a single central daggerboard just in front of the rudder inside the transom. Would that be an option for the Globe 580? Okay, there was only, to my knowledge, there was only 1 or 2 Setkas that did that because Setka's still like a class as well. There was one customized one and also one adventurer, a Polish adventurer that was looking at going around the world solo non-stop in a 5-meter boat, which he is doing. He's building his boat now. Great story. We'll be following him here as well later on. But yeah, it doesn't work with the 580. It's too complicated, and we don't want it. No, you can't do it. We actually, in fact, I meant to get back to our Japanese agent, a really amazing guy. And if you want to follow an interesting blog, get onto our Japanese agent, and he's just going gangbusters with what's going on there. But he wanted to. I've got to get back to him. In fact, I probably shouldn't say anything here because I haven't yet. But when you build the rudder, of the boat. It has to be timber cord rudder. It can be plywood, solid timber, whatever you really want. But it's just glassed externally. We're not doing anything to lighten or strengthen the rudders other than that. You can put extra glass externally on your rudder if you want, but that's it. And then David Martin was asking about, there's 21 blogs now. I think there's 23 or 24 now. And how about numbers, expressions of interest in the events? We've got 13 expressions of interest for the Transat and for the mini globe race. I'd have to check with Jane. But there's not a big rush on that at the moment, mainly because we're talking to a lot of people and no one sees the point in the expression of interest at the moment. It's so far away and they don't know what the preconditions are. But suffice to say, there is huge interest in the mini globe race, and I'm quite certain it will be a sellout. We'll have a solid fleet then. Okay, so that's that lot. There's nothing there. So we've done Globe Transat. The kits are all going fine. Something I want to show you. This is an unadulterated ad for. I got to come back a bit here. This is actually my. Hang on, I'll get rid of that one. This is actually my South Atlantic wind vane. I got it, and it's stunning. Okay, this is it. I just wanted to show you the scope of it. I've been dealing with wind vanes for nearly over 40 years, right? I was an Aries agent. I've used a lot of them, and anyway, I looked at what was around for Trekker, and I decided the best for me was the South Atlantic. It's not too heavy. This massive structure is about 13 kilos on the back of the boat, and I've got it delivered, ready to go. It's the first one I've seen in real life. This is not going to break, believe me, and it's very slick. So that's the main body of it. It's got a custom, the servo rudder goes on here, okay. The engineering is massive and very good. It's got all the features you want with remote control. This isn't a bad, even though they're our supporters now. I just want to show you the scope of things. This thing's bulletproof, and I can't wait to get it on the back of the boat, because steering a little boat is kind of fun. This is for the tiller head, for the vane head that goes on the main tube, and your vane goes in there. Just the engineering on this completely blew me away. We're getting a special deal for the class, the 580 class. It's like, I don't know whether I'm supposed to say it on here, but it's about €1,300, including the custom mounts and everything. And I'm very excited. That will go around the world 2 or 3 times without ever breaking. So I'm pretty happy about that. This is the new mini globe race, and Globe 580 T-shirt on the back. It's got stuff, and this is our class Globe 580 flag upside down. That's our class flag that you'll get when you do your registration. That's the plaque. This is the plaque 01 that says I'm a certified 580 deal, right? That gets over the CE classification as well for your boats. Once you're registered, you can do what you like with your boat, but obviously it's a one design class racing boat, and there's special exclusions in that for CE certification. So that little thing is important, which you get when it's happening. I haven't seen anywhere. Ada's been very busy online because she's one of 2 people that are watching, probably. I can build to spec for clients. So yeah, there's another one there. I saw your message there, Jeff, on the fan club, I think it was, or on the here. So yeah, there's that's one of the beauties of it. If someone's got a set of plans and they decide they're not really up for it and they're looking for a builder, it's not rocket science. So any competent shipwright, even any furniture maker, if they've got an idea of epoxy and stuff, you could build the boat. It's a very simple boat to build. I'm very happy to have Peter building mine. He's done a lot of this stuff, and he's done a great job. And we've got some of the professional builders are also now building for clients. Their blogs will be up running soon. They'll be worth following. Yeah, it's one of the advantages. So Stephen Eddy likes the T-shirt. You can buy him, Stephen. We've got to meet up one day, but anyway. Okay, I think I've covered off on everything I needed to do. Self-assembly, yeah, it's gone for nearly an hour. Holy dooly. So thanks for that. We'll There's going to be a lot happening when the boat gets here. The Vane is now clashing with us a bit because it starts on the 8th of November. You want to watch that live, it'll be quite fun. I'm sure it'll be on Facebook as well. And then once it gets here, we'll be flat stick, trying to get everything finished, get it in the water, get all the Plastimo gear sorted, do 2 rigs. I'll probably put the Selden rig on first because then I don't have to take it off. That first one's already been sold to the price, if I remember rightly, was about €3,700 for the rig, the package, the whole bit, plus all of the running gear as well, all the Blue Shark, all your blocks and bits and pieces, your furling gear, you know, for your Jenica, everything's there. But it'll be explained more when we get closer, and it'll make sense, and you can make your decisions then. You'll get a lot more detail. So thanks a lot. That's about all for now, and you can always message us, and you can always ask questions anytime. We're happy to chat. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you all next time. See you later.